it's me, Lavendar. Hello. How are you guys doing today? Hey, today is the full moon. Can you feel the energy? I can feel the energy. It is a good day to do spells. And I want to talk about spells. If you want to know a little about spells. So basically with spells, it's probably best to have them rhyme because it's a lot easier for you to remember the spell. And also it helps, you try to build up the energy that you want for your spell. A lot of spells you can probably chant to, which will build up the energy and becomes a more productive and, guarantee, possibly the spell will work if you do it correctly. Basically spells are, basically it's like a poem. There's some that actually rhyme, like every line, or maybe every other line, or it doesn't rhyme at all. It's up to you how you want to write your spells and, your style that you're comfortable doing. Now, when you're doing the rhyming, try to make it, short as possible. Like I said, it's easier for you to remember what the spell is. And also, like I said, it will increase the tempo if you do it that way also. Now, I like to rhyme because I think it's, like I said, it's easier to remember. It just sounds right and it feels right to me when it does rhyme. If you're doing something that's, to me, something that's you want to be really powerful and you want it to work, like I say, like you're doing a protection spell, I think rhyming is better. But that's just my opinion. But like I said, spelling is, basically it's like a poem, You should learn how to write poems first before you actually want to get into making a spell for your practice. So, there's different types of poetry out there. There's blank verse, there's free verse, there's narrated poetry, there's odies, there's sonnets, there's elegies, and then rhymes. There's some that are perfect rhymes, some that are I rhymes. It all depends. Now, when you're doing a blank verse, no rhyme but has meter, and also neither rhyme or meter is a free verse. A narrated poetry is telling a story. The odies is phrasing someone or something. The sonnets is 14 lines and 10 syllables per line. The rhythm stream of volta written on lamric pentameters. Sorry, I'm reading my notes. The elegy is about decrease and about the end of life. So that's more darker stuff. Rhymes, ending rhymes, last word rhymes with another line, either the second, third, or fourth. Perfect rhymes, same end of the word, but different concept. I think that's what that word means. I rhyme, don't sound the same, but look the same. So, like, if it's the word same, then the word tame. Wait, that's not right. Well, you know what I mean. I can't think of an example. Oh my god. Poor teacher. Spells don't need a rhyme. So just remember that. They don't need a rhyme. But to me, it just sounds better depending on what you're doing. Because you also are doing stuff in your rituals too, you know. And those, to me, when you're doing a ritual, I don't think it needs to rhyme. Just as long as you get your point across, what you're doing. If it feels right, then it will enhance the spell. So, I mean, that's a good thing. Like I said, when you think it's perfect wording, then it's going to be a perfect spell for you. It might not be a perfect spell for someone else, but it's a perfect spell for you. And then most likely it will work. Spells generally written with 4 lines, but it can be less. Sometimes people just do 2 lines, but I like, to be honest, I like the longer ones. Maybe I'm just weird, but I like long spells because to me it just explains the matter and protects the energy that way. But you can be short and sweet and just do 2 lines or 4 lines. Ritual spells are written for theatrical only. Oratorical only, and chants are repeated to build power. So if you're doing a chant, so say like, come forth me, come forth me, come forth me, like if you keep saying that, you know, it's gonna, you know, the energy is gonna build up and build up and build up, and whatever you want it to, whoever you want or whatever you want to come to you will come to you. And but that's pretty much it for my notes from school. But what I wanted to talk about, so I'm not really a spell person. I don't do it that often. You know, only if I really need it. Like a lot of times I'll do it because I need help with, you know, finding some money. That's usually my main spell that I like to use, but I don't like to use it too much because I don't want to be greedy in the universe, you know. And sometimes I'll do protection spells, and maybe like, I don't necessarily do love spells because I'm asexual, so I don't really give a crap about love right now. So I pretty much want protection for myself, protection for my home, my animals, etc., my family. And I just want to tell you a little story about a spell that I did last year, and I think I totally did it wrong. And so I want to teach you what I did, which I want to prevent you from doing. So I live with my ex-boyfriend, and he let me still stay here because, you know, it's expensive to live here in California. As you know, if you do live here, you understand what I mean. And so he took in this person, and then the boyfriend was in jail and he got out. So then he came in to live with us too. And they lived in the back of the house. So they pretty much stayed in the back of the house unless they needed to come out. And I did not like them at all. They were pretty much, to me, ghetto people. I know they did drugs in that room because I could smell it. I used to complain to my roommate all the time, and he used to ignore me, and I just like, you know what? I mean, it gave me more and more anxiety and more anger that I wanted to leave. I'm like, you know what? If he doesn't give a crap about what's going on, then I'm gonna leave, you know? But the problem was the bedroom that they were in had some of my things in there that was not taken out when they moved in there, because basically that room before was like a storage room, and my roommate didn't take all my stuff out, which kind of perturbed me, but you know, whatever. And so these people got to the point, the man was actually verbal and physically abusive to my roommate, my ex-boyfriend. And so, I mean, it kept going on and on. So finally he wakes up and says, why am I dealing with this? You know, this is, to me, and then the thing is, COVID hit, right? So COVID hit, you couldn't evict people because of COVID. I mean, it was horrible. We had to live with these people for an extra long year because of COVID. And like I said, the guy was an ignorant asshole. I'm sorry, but he was an ignorant asshole. And I just hated him so much because he brought so much energy into our house. And all my cats and my roommate's cats were afraid of him. I mean, they would literally take off running when this guy came into the house. And because the guy likes to yell and be an ignorant asshole, you know, I mean, he used to pop his ass. And so then it became the end of the year, and, you know, I was gonna move, you know, well, this is why I was gonna move. So one day they got in this really big fight, and it was when me and Chuck were, my roommate, was really sick, and he really couldn't get off the couch. You know, we didn't have COVID or anything because I tested to be negative both times that month, beginning of the month, because I was supposed to do a procedure, and then later in the month I was still negative. So we didn't have COVID, and he tested negative too. But they got in this big fight, and I mean, it was really bad. Like, Chuck was bleeding. It was really bad. And I could not get a hold of 911. Like, we don't have no phone service in our house. We just have our cell phones. And that's when I found out that if you have a cell phone, 911 will put you on hold. Which I think is horrible. I mean, what if I was like stranded on the street and someone was beating me up and left me for dead, but then I get to be put on hold because I have an effing cell phone? That's just ridiculous. I mean, they need to really like figure out how to enhance that shit. And but anyways, getting off my story here. So I decided when the next full moon was coming, I was going to do a spell to banish them from the house and get rid of them. And so I did my research, and I was looking online. I couldn't find a good one because a lot of the ingredients I don't have. Like, even if I was trying to like make do and try to find something to substitute it, I couldn't find it. Anything that was similar. I mean, nothing was matching, and these are things that are probably kind of impossible to find. And so with a short period of time, I'm like, well, I kept looking, so I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna go on YouTube and see if YouTube, you know, witches have any good spells for banishing people out of the home or getting rid of people out of the home. And so I found this one. It was pretty simple, you know, I was pretty happy with it, you know, and how she did it, it was pretty simple. And I'm like, oh, okay, this looks pretty good. So I chose this one. Normally, like I said, I don't do other people's spells because I like to do my own, because it's my own thoughts, my own energy. You know, my intentions for the spell wasn't really what hers were. So it was pretty simple. I was trying to remember what it was called. Like, it was, I think it was to get rid of people out of your home, like negative people out of your home or out of your life, out of your home. And it was pretty simple. Like I said, you know, you had to say these words, and you had to write the person's name on a piece of paper, and first name and last name, and you wrote it on the piece of paper like 9 times each person. And since there were 2 people, I had to write both names. And then you turn the paper to the side, and then you write over that on top of the words for the names, and you write what you want them to do. So I kind of wrote, I want to leave this home and find another place to live. Like, I was trying to make it kind of simple and not so negative. You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of a positive thing at first, okay? So then you do that, and then you fold it up. I'm trying to remember how it went. I think you fold it up, and then you the thing is, you had to have like hot things, so hot spices. So any hot spices you can find. So only thing I had was Cajun seasoning, which is, it was okay hot, I guess. I mean, I don't use it, but my roommate did. And then I found some hot sauce from Taco Bell, and also from a Chinese restaurant that we like to eat from. And you put it on top of the paper, and then you have to burn it with the sauce on it. And so it was kind of difficult to get that paper to burn because the hot sauce is on it. So that's why I didn't really, at the time I'm like, oh, this is simple, but then when you actually do the spell, it's like, okay, this is not really working right, you know, how I wanted to. And I basically put this all inside of like an old pie pan, you know, the little foil pie pans. Because after this, you're gonna have to, you know, trash it. You're supposed to, technically, she said, you're supposed to bury it far away from you. And so that's the intentions of them going away, because you're taking the names that you've written down and you're taking it away from your house. So what I did, I just put it in the trash, because for one, I can't go out and bury it somewhere, because someone would probably think I'm burying a dead body or something. Who knows, you know, when you live in LA, you know, things happen. And so when I did the spell, I did it on Halloween last year, which was, you know, everyone knows Halloween is the witch's new year, or the Day of the Dead. Now last year it was like a double moon, so it was a blue moon for one, and it was a full moon, and it was just like the coolest thing ever. And I'll, you know, get all that energy and power. So that's purposely why I did this, because of that. Because I wanted so much energy to go in this. I wanted them to leave, because I wanted to prevent, you know, legal matters for the family and stuff, you know, to happen. You know, getting a lawyer and taking them to court, blah blah blah, you know, it costs money. And so anyways, so I did that, and of course, you know, a month goes by, and then a month later, then me and my ex, we get really sick. And like the whole month of December, we were really sick. And I was all ready, because, you know, the mom, when she was going to evict them, she was going to evict me too, because I was living here for so long. And I'm like, you know what, you know, this is a sign for me to actually go home and move back home. And I wanted to go back home. So it's not like, oh, it's a big shock, I want to go back home. And so, you know, I quit my job, I sold my stock to move, I had all this money, I was ready to go, and then I couldn't move, because for one, I was sick, and another, because it snowed. It snowed on the passes. Because when you leave California to go up north, it's hilly and mountainy hills. And when you're trying to pull your car on a moving truck, that is freaking scary, because I went down that when I came here. And I can just imagine pulling the car on a hill is gonna be more scarier. I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna wait, you know, wait till springtime, you know, see how it goes. And then nothing was just going right at all, you know what I mean? Like, I was going through my money like water. You know, we were so sick, I had to order groceries in, because none of us can get up and drive. I actually was forced to drive a couple times, because Chuck was too sick to drive, and so I had to do some of his errands by paying a bill. And I'm sick. I have a freaking fever, right? And here I am going out to these places that I shouldn't be going to because I'm sick, because I don't want to get COVID, you know, because my immune system is exposed at this point and vulnerable. But anyways, so, and then a little later, down the month, like closer to Christmas, they get in a big fight again, and the guy's a jerk. He's such a jerk, you know, like he starts stuff, and he knows. And Chuck, my roommate, he's just really possessive over the mail. Like, he didn't want him touching the mail, so he touched the mail, and it became this fight. I mean, it was a big physical fight again, and I was mad. I go out there in my freaking underwear and t-shirt because it was hot, and I was hot anyways because I was sick, and I was mad. And so it was so bad that my roommate's mom came out and yelled at people. It's like, hey, you know, you need to get your ass out of this house, you know, and stuff like that. And like 2 days later, the guy left, I guess, to go wherever, because he leaves all the time and is gone for a long time. And he leaves, and he comes back, and he's like yelling for the lady to open the door, and you know, she's not coming to the door. And I just thought that was weird, because she always lets him in, you know what I mean? And granted, she's been really sick too, for the past month, and she wasn't coming. And so finally I get up, and my roommate, he's right there on the couch, right? But he doesn't get up out of the couch. And so I'm getting yelled at because I'm not opening the door. And I'm like, seriously, I'm in my bedroom, and you want me to come out of the bedroom when he's next to the couch and he can't open the door? So the firemen are yelling at me because they were about to break the door down to get in the house. And I'm just like, what the hell's going on? Why are the fire department there? And so they come in the house, and the lady died in the house. And I was just like in shock. For 5 hours, I sat on my bed just staring at nothing. I didn't know what to do. I mean, just like, I felt really bad that she didn't get help. I don't understand why she didn't go to the hospital, because that night when they were fighting again, you know, she came out and she was breathing really hard, like really hard. And I was just like, what the hell? You know, you need to go to the hospital. But, you know, she don't want to go to the hospital. She doesn't want to leave the guy, and the guy doesn't want to leave the house because there's no key. And I'm just like, oh my God. And yeah, that was really bad. And I felt really bad for the guy, because he lost his girlfriend, even though I don't think he was really close with her. But, you know, I heard him crying in there or whatever. You know, he might have been talking to someone, and he was trying to get it, you know, because this guy used to go out to other people's women's houses and have sex with them. You know what I mean? Like, he just had no respect for her and wasn't faithful to her at all. And for him to cry when she died, I was just shocked. You know, I was actually surprised that he would actually have that type of emotion about it. Did I believe it? I don't, maybe at first, but then after a while it became, I think it was more staged, you know, more fakey. And it's just the fact that when he came back to the store, which he was gone for a couple hours, and then he comes back, and then ambulance in the fire department is there. I mean, that's just kind of fishy to me. And so, but anyways, so my roommate, you know, felt really bad, and so he said, okay, you know, things are forgiven, but you know, you still need to leave. But you know, if you need to stay for a little longer until you figure out what you're doing, then you can stay, right? So he pretty much stayed for maybe another couple weeks. I think on New Year's Eve he kind of left and found somewhere else to go, but he left all the stuff. And so my roommate, when I was at work one day, he had all that stuff outside. I'm like, you need to put that stuff away. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just have that in the front of the house. You're gonna have to hide it in the back. You know where I parked my car, right in front of me. So anyways, so eventually, you know, he left and stayed away. But I mean, look at that time difference between when I did the spell and then when they actually, you know, when she died and then when he left. You know, sometimes stuff doesn't happen right away. I'm not saying that it's just coincidental that this all happened, but I think it was eventually going to happen anyways, because she was really a sickly person, like worse than me, and like she always had some kind of breathing problems, and she just couldn't breathe sometimes, and I don't know if she was taking her medications or what, because, but anyways, I felt really bad. So the only things I can think of what could have been prevented, you know, it's like she needed to go to the hospital, you know what I mean? Like, you can't be thinking that if you go to the hospital you're not going to have a place to live. Well, you know, you have a place to go, you just choose not to do it. And because of the guy, you know what I mean? Like, the guy was really, had her wrap around his finger, you know what I mean? Like, she did everything he said. If he said jump, she jumped, you know? And it was a really sad situation. And then after that happened, of her passing away, and after he left and everything, I didn't do anything with that room. I should have did something right away, you know, but I didn't. And I started having horrible bad luck. Like, you know, my health was really bad. I was really sick all the time. And, you know, I got sick again in January, and I mean, I was miserable. And then I went through all that money that I had to move. Well, I did. So I'm like, crap, I'm gonna have to go back to work. Here I had quit my job. Finally, after 10 years, I finally quit my job, but I had to go back. And because I needed money and I wanted to keep the amount that I had in there to stay there while I worked. Well, fortunately, I kept getting sick through working, and I didn't get paid very much because I didn't work very much. But like I said, I was having horrible bad luck. My health, my emotional health, you know, all the stress I was going through, and financially I was having problems. I mean, I don't know if it was from that spell that I did. It just kind of backfired and went back at me because of what happened, or because the way the woman was doing it, it was kind of more of a negative thing, and I was trying to make it more positive by rewording things, because my intentions were to be angry and banishing them from the house. I just wanted them to leave the home, find somewhere else to live, and they'll forget us, basically. And I don't know, because most of the time I looked up that when you're doing like banishing type spells, you should do it on a waning moon after the full moon. Well, fortunately, I did it on the blue full moon, and I don't know if that's why. I mean, I think that's what's really important about spells, that you do it on the correct days that you think are best for the spell. And make sure that your correspondence are correct in your sense, that it will make the spell make sense, if you know what I mean. So just to let you guys know, just be really careful how you do spells, when you do spells, what your intentions are, and the items that you use are important. If you do, if you cast a circle or not, if you ask for deities or your ancestors to help you, you know, just be really careful what you ask for, because it might not work out. It might not work at all. It might not work out. It might come back to you with negativity. And so I don't know if that's just coincidental, doing that spell and all my bad luck that I had this year. Because I was really sick this year, and I tried my best to go to work and make money, but you know, I don't make that much money. You know what I mean? Working part-time is kind of hard, and then when you're sick, it's just a bummer, because you know, I'm just a relief person. I'm not actually a part-time employee. So anyways, that is my lesson for you guys today, is that be really careful on your spells. If that's something you want to do in your practice, you know, just be really careful on basically what your intentions are for the spell. If it, like, especially for ones like if you're going to do like a weight loss spell, be careful with those, because make sure when you do it, you say it correctly, you do it correctly, because what if it makes you become more overweight, or it makes you lose weight too much? You know what I mean? Be really careful on that. Maybe you want a love spell, or maybe you want someone to love you. Be careful with that. You know, you might not want what they give you if it does work. You know what I mean? Like, even though you might want them to love you and stuff like that, maybe they're not really loving you, they're lusting you, and they become obsessive over you. So just be really careful. And but you know, I mean, spells are fun, you know. I mean, even if it doesn't work, you know, it's fun to do in your practice. And you know, I don't know, I mean, like I said, you know, it's not something that I normally do, but I mean, it's something I like to learn. I'm not saying I'm gonna throw it out the window, you know. I probably will still do some. I'm just more into, you know, the tarot, the, you know, the ruins and stuff like that, you know, the more of the magical tools of the witchcraft. And also I'm all into the plants and the earth and stuff like that too. So, but anyways, guys, I hope that is a lesson learned for you. If there's anything that you want me to talk about that you're interested in, of my opinion, leave a comment. If you have any, you know, any ideas of making my content better. Unfortunately, like I said, I am broke, and so I have to use my phone to film these. And so if the audio sucks, I am so sorry. It's all I have. Anyways, guys, I appreciate your support, and don't forget to like, comment, and share if you want to share, or subscribe to me. All right, peace, guys.